What is up, YouTube? And welcome to episode 43 of the Chaos Daily. Let's get straight into it. It's finished. The parts for the Phenom heater are done. And here it is. This is the reducing collar. This I pulled off the bed about half an hour ago. It's already been through the curing cycle, and it's amazing. I just have to take a moment and say I'm genuinely blown away with the tolerances and accuracy of using the Phenom printer with Siraya Tech resin. I was expecting to have to make some adjustments through this process, but out of the box, just by following the methodical steps of doing the printing, clean environment, clean your bed, just make sure everything's nice and level, taking your time, being patient with everything, has seen some incredible results. Also, going through the slicing settings, I've made only a couple of tweaks to exposure time per layer. I've increased it by 2 seconds. I might take that down by a second because they come out of the print nice and stiff now, whereas before they were still just a little too soft for my liking. But now they're just at the right threshold that I can peel off the supports without having to cut anything. For instance, this was supported flat and level like this, and all I had to do was peel the corner and it would break away the corner. Do that all 4 corners and the sides, and that way once the sides were all released, I grab the top, grab the bottom and twist it, and it just removed the whole interior support structure for those internal grids. It's amazing. I'm loving this. Like I can't get over how good this is. So I cannot wait to start now printing some plain parts. I think I'm going to get started on the Albatross now. I might actually start printing a couple of other things first. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I really want to try using some of the other resins like the blue and the tenacious. Because I don't have the heater set up yet, it's going to be a little bit a ways away. This printed out beautifully. This is where I had the highest time per layer second. This came out very stiff, very hard, and yeah, it worked out beautifully. Just enough softness in this Siraya Tech Grey ABS that has a little bit of flexibility in that. Next up was the mounting bracket. I got the dimensions for the case mounting holes from Peopoly direct. I spoke to my contact at Peopoly, and he got in touch with his engineers and they sent me the information for those. So this printed out perfectly and it was a perfect fit first time. I used my calipers to get the dimensions for these holes so that they would be a press fit onto those studs. They are also proud enough that once they go on the studs, there's enough material still sticking away from the top surface of the studs, so I can put a washer and a 3mm screw to press fit it against the case. There's also a 2mm gap on the back edge here where the fan sits, so that way there's no touching or vibration or rubbing of the fan against the case. They're held separate so we can reduce vibrational noise from the fan. And then next up comes the reducing collar. This also, again, just beautiful dimensions. All of the lines are flush. There's no overhangs, no undercuts, nothing. Everything is perfectly lined up. It's amazing. And then the best part is taking the heating element, and you can see in here there's some grooves on the bottom there below the slots. There's a couple of register, you can see them just in there. So they hold the bottom edge of the heating element, and then there's ones on the top here. So you just pop this in like so, and the wires go into the slots, and then it pops into place like so. And then the best part, and I couldn't believe this, when I got this out of the curing station, I grabbed the top cap, listen to this. How awesome is that? Perfect press fit, that sits on there nicely. It holds the heater in place. There's an air gap all around so that the heater doesn't directly touch the side walls. It's only being held by these grids on the top and on the inside. So I'm just going to be waiting for some screws to arrive in the post so I can assemble this properly and install it in the printer, and it is ready to go. We're still waiting on the thermal sensor and Inkbird temperature control unit to arrive, and I can do all the wiring and get this functioning. And that way, once I have a controlled temperature environment in the printer, I can start using some of the other resins like the blue and the tenacious, because they really do like to maintain a consistent environment throughout the printing. If during the day, it's 25 or plus degrees Celsius during the day here, and at night the temperature can fall to about 20, 22 degrees. I can see some severe inconsistencies through these larger prints, like this one was 20 hours for instance. It spent most of this at 25, and then this would have been at about 20, 22 degrees last night. So yeah, it's really important to maintain that temperature control for printing engineering articles like this, but I still can't get over that press fit. That's amazing. I haven't made any tweaks or adjustments to the settings for the Cheeto Box profile from Peopoly. That just works out of the box. Like I said, the only thing I've changed is exposure times for the layers so that I can get a slightly different material property out of the printer for the wash process and the curing process. Just makes things a little easier, and like I said, makes it easier to remove the support material. So up next is going to be the Albatross. So I'm going to go reslice those files now that I've learned what I've learned about support materials and all that. I need to make some adjustments to the raft. I need to make that thinner. It's a bit thick. I need to save. I can save a bit of material there and a bit of printing time with that. So we'll leave it there for today's episode. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Check out my Patreon if you can. That is super helpful. And as always, I've been Chaos. And until next time, expect the unexpected. And I will see you guys later. And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.